Looking for a hole, finds one, and gets into the end zone. Dances his way right, jukes to the left, and scurries into the end zone. Joey Moriello from about 9 yards out. Touchdown, Salve.
Well, you cannot have a better start than Salve has. On defense, they cause a major turnover, and 2 plays later, Joey Moriello from the 9.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Seahawk Talk. It's Thursday, April 16, my sister Susan's birthday, so shout out to her. I already said happy birthday this morning, but why not do it again? And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, formerly Lou Alcindor, happy birthday to you too. My name is Ed Habishaw. What a busy show we have today. I've already got our first 2 guests in queue in Zoom. They'll be followed by another 2 guests, so rather than throwing up the guest graphic, let's just go to the guest quickly. Because we're jam-packed today. So we're going to head out to Ardmore, Pennsylvania and Colts Neck, New Jersey and say hello to our friends Pete Noonan and Joe Moriello. How are you doing, guys?
Good.
Good, how are you?
Very good. As we mentioned in queue, I put up a label on my camera up top to unmute. Yesterday's show with Coach Rob McGinnis, it was like this at the beginning. You know, a lot of good content from Rob, but maybe from me. But really happy to have you guys on the show today. Pete, you are entering 2020 as a captain, and I've got some cool notes on the Seahawks. You are the Pennsylvania State champion. This year, the Seahawks were ranked 32nd in the country in rushing yards per game, 250.5 yards rushing per game. And we also have the 2018 All-CCC second team and 2018 CCC Rookie of the Year. And last year, in 2019, ranked 10th in the nation as an individual for rushing yards with 1,334, Joey Moriello. Guys, it seems like yesterday since you were playing.
Oh, yeah. Missed it already.
What have you been doing since then?
Well, I've just been staying active any way I can, spending time with my family, obviously getting creative with ways to work out, and working on my academics as well.
Those are important. Talk about being an offensive lineman, Pete, where you are asked to do a lot of work and you get no glory. The guy behind you gets a lot of the glory.
No, I mean, that is true, but I think we do get our own sense of glory. You know, it's pretty satisfying, you know, when Joey does really well. It's what we work for. And it does, like, the camaraderie on the O-line. When Joey does well, it builds confidence. And basically, when Joey does well, just makes we do well, too. So.
Outstanding. Joey, you are always respectful in giving credit where credit is due. When you get lauded with awards during the season and it's posted on our social media accounts, you are the first one to be gracious and say thanks within those accounts. We really appreciate your appreciation.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's all them. It's all them up front, so, like, they deserve just as much credit.
And we talked off air right before this show came on, and your dad is a big presence social media-wise, but also at games. He's able to get to every home game from Colts Neck, New Jersey, and he's right there in front of the press box. And
he has yet to miss a game.
We hear his voice along with the voice of Bob Angel, and Jim Ascoli when they're calling the broadcast.
Mhm.
What's it like for you guys out on the field? Football is a big sport, and you're getting a lot of attention both media-wise and from fans, family, and friends. What is that like?
I mean, I think it's pretty awesome to have that support. Like, you have your team, your coaches, your friends, but to see people that you don't even know giving you that support, it kind of gives you an extra push, and that's just something that's really appreciated.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing too. Also, like when we play home games, it's always fun. Like everybody gets excited, and you get to see the whole Salve community, and it's just something you really look forward to all week.
I'm going to dissolve another clip into this show and show
Governed from the
the final play of the first half against Endicott on Fall Festival weekend.
30-yard line. Moriello 20. Moriello
Audio is
10.
playing as well from Bob Angel and Jim Ascoli.
Into the end zone. Touchdown, Salve.
Joey,
Oh,
you score on a
goodness.
42-yard run on 4th and 2.
What a great run
Yeah,
by
it was a good
Joey
one. I felt
Moriello.
You were just trying to get a first down, but you were able to break free on the left side and go all the way in for the score.
Along the far sideline.
Those are the games. Now, what are the practices like?
Well, I'd say, I mean, we always work to get better in practice, and like we try and fix the little things. And we only get so much time together, but we try and make it as intense as possible and just get as better as we can. Get as better as we can.
Yeah.
Well, we got some nice footage from practices back during the year. Head coach Kevin Gilmartin. Is it like organized chaos? Because there's so many moving parts out there. And
Everyone's getting in, everyone's getting reps. People are yelling. Like, some people don't know what to do, but things get fixed there, and that's why it's so important. So it's chaos, but it's so worth it, and we need it. So
does each coach have a whistle?
oh yeah.
And you go to your respective position coach, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Shout out Coach Kessler.
Coach K, former offensive lineman for the Seahawks back in the day. Gentlemen, football is a contact sport, correct?
Yeah.
So we are in the middle of this pandemic. Who knows when it's ending? What have your thoughts been about the future, not only of you as a student in perhaps remotely, but what about your sport and the contact in that sport?
Well, I would just say it's bigger than us, obviously, and just say we can control what we can control and just stay together as a team and do the best we can with it, honestly.
Have you thought about esports?
Video games?
Video games.
I mean, maybe when college ball is over for sure, but yeah, no, maybe.
So which one of you plays Madden? Or do you both play Madden?
I play
Yeah, a decent amount of Madden is played,
both Madden.
especially now during quarantine.
Yeah.
A lot of Madden being played.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been away from video games for ages. When I played my first edition of Madden, it was actually Sega. I don't know if that game system still exists or if it evolved into something else. But what is Madden like nowadays?
Well, I'd say it's very realistic, actually. Like, you'd be surprised the type of the things you can do in a video game. But it's really fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. You get to play with your friends too, especially since you can't see them now. So it gives you something to do. It's a fun game.
Let's see here. We've got Connections Day coming up on Saturday. Do you guys remember your Connections Day experience?
I personally do not.
Yeah, I really don't remember it too well. But, like, can you give me, like what goes on Connections Day?
You have a chance to come in and see the campus. It's a springtime event where you are on the fence. What was it like being recruited by Salve, and how did you end up making your decision? Because a lot of times the decisions are made on that day, Connections Day.
Well, for me, I actually was not sure at all about Salve. It was kind of just a thought in the back of my mind. And then when things didn't really work out with my other top schools, I just knew that it was something with this school that I had to do it. So I actually texted Coach Gil Martin at 2 a.m. when I committed, and I was just like, "Hey, Coach, I'm coming to Salve," and that was it. A really last-minute decision, one of the last days that you could make the decision. So yeah, mine was pretty like a shot in the dark.
You made Coach sweat.
Yeah. I was also sweating. I didn't really know.
Pete, how was it for you?
Well, my decision, I did it overnight, and I saw the campus, and I saw the guys on the team, and it just was something I wanted to be a part of. Also, Coach Gill, and all the coaches really recruit you and want you to come to the team to make it better. So that was big for me.
Gentlemen, I'd like to give you an opportunity to get another shout out. This past year, 2019, you had the most players on the roster ever. So I counted at least 20 other OLs on that roster. So let's give a quick shout out to your fellow men in the trenches.
Yes. I mean, it's a tight-knit group. I mean, it's really fun. We've been doing Zoom meetings, and it's just good to see them, because during the season you're with them every day. So it's kind of weird to not see them for a while. It's definitely been weird.
So we go Azzalini, DeStefano, Dewey, Ford, Godoy, Guerreri, Gilbo, Highland, Lenahan, McDermott, McGroarty, Moynihan, Noonan, O'Donnell, Kevin O'Lawson, Ratty, Saunders, Seta, Stukel, and Telford. Wisniewski, we were supposed to be joined by Elion Telford, and I was looking forward to that because I had him as a first-year student, FYT, just a year ago, and how excited I was this past season in 2019 to see an OL get an offensive reception. He lined up as eligible, and
that was surprising, right?
Yeah,
you didn't expect that, right?
I forget which quarterback was behind the center, but somebody delivered him a nice strike, and Elion showed his good hands.
Yeah.
Well, you both have done a great job on the field, off the field, in the classroom as well, and I really appreciate you joining me here on this edition of Seahawk Talk.
Yeah, thanks for having us. This was
pleasure. Thank you.
Say hello to the folks back in Ardmore, PA, and Colts Neck, NJ. Good to see you here, and stay safe back home.
All right. Good talk.
That's
Bye.
That's Joey Moriello and Pete Noonan, South Virginia sophomore and junior on our football team. I'm Ed Habishar. I'll be joining the first and second Emily's out of Dover, Florida, after this short break.
I know sports is important, but having the academic part along with it is a big plus.
I've discovered in myself, a newfound ability to overcome adversity at all different angles.
Wow, so many moving parts, but welcome back to Seahawk Talk. My name is Ed Habershaw. Just finished with Joey Moriello and Pete Noonan of our football team, and now I'm ready to go to Dover, Florida, where two people have the most experience and they were the most prepared for schooling at home. Let's go to our guests from South Virginia Women's Volleyball. Madison on your left. Madison on your left, and Morgan on your right. It's the Lees from Dover, Florida. The first two Emilys. Welcome, ladies. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. How are you? Really good.
Very good, thank you. As I mentioned to the audience, that you guys have the most experience with being homeschooled because that's how you were brought up.
Yeah, since third grade we've been homeschooled.
We were ready for this. We got it.
So I mentioned to Coach Sebastian Nordsey last week, what was it like when you put together that pass, dig, and send Instagram video? Did you guys actually help each other out, or did you have different sending partners and receiving partners?
We were there to help each other out. We tossed the ball in. It took a million takes because you toss it too far, toss it too short, wouldn't have to go run and get it, but we helped each other.
So it was good practice then.
Exactly, yeah.
Just what you need. Well, talk about homeschooling. What is that like?
So a lot of people think it's kind of like you're just staying at home and just doing school out of books, and some people do it that way. We always did things where it's called like a co-op. So basically you just go to school like 1 or 2 days a week. So you're still like around other kids. You still have like other teachers besides just your parents. You have like assignments and stuff you got to turn in. And then sports basically are kind of the same thing. Like you have co-ops where people get together and you get a coach and then you compete. And like we were in the FHSA, which is like Florida High School. So it's basically the same as like a school. You just go 1 or 2 days a week.
And you found a way to play high school volleyball.
Yes, Tampa Bay Heat.
I saw something in your notes when you filled out your publicity form. In addition to you being homeschooled, which was an impressive note, 4 years in a row, state runners-up?
Yes, all 4 years, our team we won districts 3 years, won regionals 4 years, and we were state runners-up all 4 years? Yeah, 4 years. All 4 years.
So, Madison, since you're the first Emily, how did you select Salve? Find Salve and say, you know what? Not only am I not going to be homeschooled, I'm going to go far away from home.
That was kind of a big thing. I was looking at a couple schools in Florida, but I mostly wanted to go out of Florida. And then my grandma actually ended up sending me to Salve. We have family kind of up this way.
Oh, cool.
And I saw a school that was beautiful, talked to the coach, and just went for it.
And, of course, Coach was Coach Lauren Parsons, who stepped down from her post after many years. Mm-hmm. And Morgan, did you know all along that you'd be following your sister up north?
I actually didn't. It was not one of my top choices for a school, but then I started talking to Coach Parsons a little more, and I got really excited and decided this is where I wanted to be. So.
Outstanding. You both see a lot of time on the court with the rotations that Coach Parsons had, and also from what we can anticipate with Coach Nordsey. Now, we talked off screen, and we thought, hey, you know, this is our first time we've had family members on the show. What would you say to a little game of Family Feud?
Oh my gosh.
Why not?
All right. Let's go back to our folks from Dover. You can't see these cards. You're on different sides, by the way.
Okay.
Different teams. We haven't prepped you with these questions. But the first Emily will go first. And I'm just going to ask for, I'll ask the question, and then you will tell me, on this one, there's top 5 answers. Okay.
Got it.
Madison Lee, for the right to control this category, name something people rent for one day.
U-Haul, a movie. Oh, just one thing?
Name one thing. Buzz in and say, give your answer.
All right. I'm going for a movie.
A movie. Would you say through Blockbuster? No, I'm kidding. But you are correct. That's on the board.
Nice.
And it's number 2 on the board. So Morgan, to win this category, you have the opportunity to get the answer that's number 1 on the board. Or 3, 4, or 5. Go for it. Name something people rent for one day.
What about a car? Maybe.
We have a winner! Car is the number 1 answer. Woohoo! Well done. We will go to question number 2. Ha ha ha. We'll see how appropriate this question may be. You can probably see the back of this card. Okay, I'm going to ask. We asked 100 men. Name something you've tried to fix and failed. Something you tried to fix and failed. Morgan gets the right to go because she is the reigning winner on the last question. We asked 100 men, name something you've tried to fix and failed.
It's in a relationship.
Morgan, that's number 2. Very good.
Let's see what Maddie's got.
It's a bunch of correct answers, 2 through 7, that are all equal in value, but the number 1 answer is still up there for Madison.
Okay. I'm gonna say I tried to fix and couldn't. Maybe a car.
We have another winner! Back-to-back questions where car or limo was the number 1 answer. Congratulations to both Emily's. Now, Emily's, your parents have a great sense of humor, don't they?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
They named Madison and Morgan, obviously, and Emily, and then 3 other sisters are Emily's. 4! Oh my gosh! Well, each of you has 4 sisters. We should say that, right?
I have 5 younger sisters. There's 6 of us total.
Oh my gosh! I've lost track then. Tell me the names of the other 4.
So Madison, Morgan, Mackenzie, Macy, Mallory, and Maggie May.
Maggie May. Now, if there's a chance for another sibling, whether adoption or birth, can I ask that it be Emily, spelled E-M-L-E-E, as the name? And that would be
funny.
That would be the 7th Emily.
Yeah.
But the only one, and I'm not saying it has to begin with the letter E because my name begins with the letter E. I'm just saying E-M-L-E-E would be really cool.
That'd be funny.
Any chance?
Probably not. Maybe.
Well, talk about the creativity that you guys enjoy in the sport of volleyball. And what I love seeing at times is some practices where you're getting some volleyball skills in play, but you're actually playing knockout in basketball. Is that a lot of fun?
Oh, yeah. We love that one. That's like kind of a warm-up game. Mia usually beats us all at it, but it's kind of just warming up, getting your feet moving and everything, getting you thinking. That's a fun one.
Well, do you want to give any shout-outs? Since you don't have control of your Instagram yet, you do have an opportunity to give shout-outs to the rest of your team out there and let them know how you're doing and give them a shout-out to hang in there, and we can all dig it.
Yes, let's dig it, guys.
We really miss you guys. Can't wait to be back in the gym together.
Excellent. Thank you, Madison. Thank you, Morgan. Really appreciate you joining us on the show today. And you guys are looking good. Enjoying the homeschooling, back to homeschooling, as it would say, not Rodney Dangerfield style, but the Lee style.
Exactly.
That's right.
All right.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Anytime, because we can continue this Family Feud game. You finished today in a tie. All right. Take care, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
We'll see you. That's Madison and Morgan Lee, the first and second Emily in the household down in Dover, Florida. My name's Ed Habshaw. We'll be back with equestrian update after this break.
3 allows you to be able to give yourself to other things. Not even just participate in them, but really get involved with them if you want to.
There's a lot of interaction. It's not just sitting back, taking notes. You're actually doing hands-on things and better preparing yourself for your major.
Cameron loves me.
Really irritated if we had to graduate on like a Skype call or something.
It just doesn't seem real to me yet. I just feel like this will blow over soon, hopefully.
I thought I would get like a senior week and a week to say goodbye to everybody. Now I kind of feel like I'm not done with high school.
Ever since my quarantine experience transpired, I kind of had the whole adjustment process that seniors go through typically. Our prom got postponed, then it got canceled, then our graduation getting canceled, maybe rescheduled for July. So it's a lot of uncertainty right now.
Not a lot of the teachers, but a good many of them just like have slowly been assigning more and more and more and more just because they're staying at home.
It's just like it's the last semester as a senior. I feel like no one's going to be doing work in the first place.
A lot of the people say that their homework is just flooding them. They feel like they're drowning in homework because teachers are giving us so much because we have so much free time now, I guess.
I can attest to every senior, it just kind of slips by the wayside after you've been quarantined for so long. You're like, what day is it? What day of the week is it?
Doesn't really matter like what I do outside. I just want to go and do something. Like I know some of my friends have resorted to just driving, not going anywhere, just driving in circles, just to do something.
Now with Governor Kemp closing all schools in Georgia for the rest of the year, we don't know when our prom is going to happen or if it's going to happen at all. It's a little devastating, and I don't really know what else to say about, but I had this beautiful dress, and I don't have anywhere to go.
I miss the presence of my friends and like being able to like just like be with them, like talk to them, have them be there for me and stuff like that.
Yeah, there you go.
We were into our first region game of the season, so it was going well. I was really enjoying it. It's kind of weird knowing that the last game I played in was probably the last game I'll play in.
This would have been my third year doing track. I don't want 3 weeks ago to be my last indoor race or race in high school in general.
The main event that I would be missing is getting that graduation party, getting that send-off, because I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm going all the way to Boston next year.
It's still upsetting to know that this is happening to everybody in my age and in my grade because I know how hard we've all worked and we've watched every other class walk across the graduation stage and move on to the next level.
The way I kind of see it is if they have to cancel my prom and graduation and the second half of my senior baseball season to help contain the spread of the virus and to possibly keep like somebody's grandparents from getting infected. If it gives that person another couple of years with their grandparents, it's so be it.
That's a nice feature produced by USA Today, focusing on the high school seniors and how the coronavirus has impacted them, both athletically, academically, socially. And glad we were able to bring that to you. Our students are in session online. They're not back on campus. Some of them are, but most of them aren't. Most of them are back home or wherever they're quarantined is where they're at. And we've been fortunate to be able to bring you Seahawk Talk and bring you their stories. And I've never heard of TikTok before. Well, I've heard of it, but I never understood what it was. You know, I had to Google it and say, okay, what is TikTok? And this is what I found out. TikTok is this. It's a social media platform. Well, it's also an opportunity for our equestrian team to tell us what's going on with them. Here you go. Yes, we are back, and I told you we were jam-packed today. Actually, I thought I had her. Let me answer this call as we are live. And, yep, we've got a special guest joining us. She just finished class on campus. I mean, these Salve students are busy. None busier than our guest coming up. Let's say hello right away to Hannah Smith. Thank you for joining us on today's program.
Of course.
Wow, what a treat. We were unfortunately not able to connect with Coach Villarreal last Monday in his regular segment at 3:15. The weather, as you remember, it was awful. Today, hey, I see some sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't have to go outside for class.
No, I did not.
You had a class at 2:30. What was that, Hannah?
I had my authentic assessment class from 2:15 to 3:30 today. It's a class where I learn how to create assessments for my future kindergarten, first, or second grade students.
Outstanding. You are a early childhood education major.
Yes.
Talk about that and how you decided, hey, I'm coming to Salve Regina.
So, I decided to come to Salve Regina after a family member asked me to come tour, and that would be Sister Jane, our previous president.
Yeah.
She got into the president office at, I think it was 2010, so I was only 11 at the time, but when I was a junior in high school, she was like, hey, why don't you come up here and check it out? So I came up and I visited, and I decided, like, oh, this is where I want to go to school. It's like a new thing from small town Virginia, so I was like, you know what, let's see what goes on. So I came up here, and then I knew I'd always known I wanted to be a teacher. So I found a major that I liked, and I was like, you know what, let's just go for it.
In addition to being a teacher, you got some experience at being a peer mentor.
Yes.
With a first year transitions instructor Coach Bill Villarreal.
Yes.
What was that experience like?
It was really fun. I had a class of 20 boys and 2 girls, so that was very interesting.
Wow.
But it was a good time. I got to teach them lots of skills to use on campus. I taught them about the resources. I was a resource for them throughout the year. I actually had one of them text me the other day about the upcoming housing agreement stuff that we're doing. So
you are in Newport.
Yes, I am in Newport.
Interestingly enough, I read your first year bio on your publicity form, and you listed your furthest trip away from home being Newport, Rhode Island, and now it is your home.
And now it is my home, yep.
Talk about that. You're from Purcellville, Virginia.
Yep, Purcellville, Virginia. So it's a small town in Loudoun County on the western part of the county, and I didn't really, I got out much. We went on vacation in North Carolina, and I would visit my family, up in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and stuff, but I basically spent most of my time in Purcellville, Virginia. So then when I decided to go to school in Newport, it was something totally new for me, and it was really far from home, but I said hey, let's give it a try.
Absolutely. Well, how is the lacrosse season going for you up to the point of early March?
It was going really well. We were 2-1, which was really awesome. We won our first game and unfortunately lost our second, but then we won our third. We were having a good time. We had a very good team this year. We have lots of seniors that I'm very sad to say goodbye to, but they put in a wonderful 4 years with us, which is really awesome. And then we have a lot of returners coming back as well.
And Hannah, you're also a key member on our Student Athlete Advisory Committee, a member of the E-Board for that as well, the executive board, and you are ready for an Instagram takeover, I believe.
Yes, actually, I will be doing an Instagram takeover tomorrow, so hopefully the weather's nice so I can get outside and do stuff outside. But yeah, SAC is really fun. We have a really good group. The E-Board and just the regular SAC members included. Everyone is always super generous with their time and super nice and ready to participate, which we love.
Well, you've been an excellent surprise guest for Seahawk Talk this afternoon. Really appreciate you coming on, and we'll look forward to you perhaps filling in for Coach Villarreal if he can't make his future Monday spots.
Maybe. If you need me, just let me know.
Will do. Thank you so much, Hannah.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
You too. Take care.
Bye.
That's Hannah Smith, a junior member of our women's lacrosse team, coming to us from Newport by way of Purcellville, Virginia. My name's Ed Habisher. We'll be back with John Ingalls after a short break.
Division III schools offer academic scholarships instead of athletic scholarships. This really puts the focus that the student athlete needs to maintain that GPA.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
Welcome back to Seahawk Talk on Thursday, April 16. My name's Ed Habisher. We're going to head out to Little Compton, Rhode Island, and join our head sailing coach since 2003, Mr. John Ingalls. Welcome, John. How are you?
Well, great, Ed. Thanks for having me back again. This is awesome. We're just 3 miles away, as you know, in sunny Little Compton.
As the Seahawk flies. And we heard some other animals within earshot while we're in queue before this segment. How many animals do you have in the household?
Well, I think I have 12 boats, which is what you might expect, but we have 3 big dogs. Actually, one of them's a little beagle, but we have my daughter's dog is a cross between a Great Dane and some sort of foxhound, and then we have a golden doodle who's a large one, and then the little beagle. They can be loud.
Well, 3 different breeds, but they're all related through Ingalls. So I wanted to ask you how many emails you have in your drafts folder, if you knew it off the top of your head, or if you could look it up and say, oh yeah, I've been meaning to send this, or I shouldn't send this. But it's all about preparation. You make preparations, and that goes for the sailing world as well. You prepare, but you don't always get what you're preparing for because the conditions can change out on the water.
That's right. So I'll tell you ahead of time, I don't have any emails in my draft folder because I don't work. Which you do have to be careful for anybody who's listening or watching when you're having one of those emotional times.
Yep.
You might not want to hit that send button, which means it should be in your draft folder. Give it some time to sleep on. Anyway, but back to the real point, which is being prepared for our competitions. We certainly train quite hard physically, and we train in the classrooms with the rules and strategies and tactics, all to make sure that we're prepared when we get to that competition. And then we certainly understand our boat handling and our tuning of the rigs and trimming of the sails and our choice of teammates for the conditions. So when it's windier, we tend to flatten the sail plans and depower the boats. And when it's lighter, just the opposite. We try to power the boats up. And that's all done through the rig tension, the sail trim, and setting the sails properly. But sometimes you get to a location. So we could be going down to Yale and in the New Haven area out on Long Island Sound, and we know the forecast is supposed to be 15 to 20 miles an hour, 15 to 20 knots, so it's going to be pretty breezy. And we're there with the big boys and big girls and ready to get some meat on the rail and keep the boats flat and just flying through the water and powering through the waves. And you get there, and of course it's New England, and the weather can change without any warning, and we have no breeze, or it's very light breeze. It could be 3 to 5, or down to the minimum that we're allowed to sail at, which is 3. And of course, those were those preparations that you were talking about, Ed. We were all prepared, and we're going to be sailing heavy, so as opposed to sailing light, and that can cost you. So typically, what we try to do to be prepared when we go to a major competition like a championship, and we're trying to qualify for nationals, we'll have the heavies and the lights there just to make sure we have all the bases covered. But typically, for just the average regatta, we might have 3 or 4 regattas on any given weekend. We're just going to go with what we think we should for crews and skippers, and it doesn't always pan out.
John, you talk about preparations and New England being New England as it is. Where have you encountered the most challenging conditions among your collegiate sailing venues?
Well, you're going to get, I'll give you my opinion, but if you were to ask the individuals on the team, they might give you a different answer than I would. Some people excel in stronger breeze. Some people excel in the lighter breeze. Some people like it shifty, and others like it more steady. So I find that that it's pretty challenging up in River. Things can be very, very unpredictable to the point where you could be sailing downwind, and you're supposed to be sailing downwind towards the next mark, and the breeze will do a 180 on you, and you are sailing straight into the wind at that point. So, and it will change back and forth that dramatically and that drastically, as well as the wind speed. You'll be in a 3 to 5 knot puff, and then a little while later, you can get hit with a 15 to 20 knot puff, and then back down to 7, and it's just all over the place. So I think that's really the most challenging from my perspective. But some people love that stuff, and I have to admit, when I was sailing in college, I was very good on the Charles and enjoyed those crazy conditions. But you just have to be careful because as they say, no lead, no matter how big it is safe on the Charles River because the breeze can just totally do crazy things there.
Coach, how excited are visiting schools to come into Fort Adams when we host the Sister Esther Whalen Regatta?
Well, I have to tell you that I guess it's arguable, but maybe not even. Most people would agree that Salve Regina has the best sailing venue in all of college sailing. And I mean all of college sailing, not just New England, but the whole country. So we have just a phenomenal place to sail, and we have several different areas where we can sail. So when it's super crazy windy, we have areas that are a little bit more protected. And when it's lighter, we can be out in the bay where it's wide open and the breezes are a little more steady and they're not as inhibited by land masses or building structures. So as a matter of fact, the national championships come to New England. It used to be on a 7-year basis, then it came down to a 4-year basis. And every single time it comes to New England, they want to host it at our venue. So I think for the past three events, 3 national championships, they've been at Salve Regina. So it's been pretty well received, our sailing venue.
And that gives you plenty of options from a practice setting as well.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. So we have Brenton Cove. We'll go into Brenton Cove, which is always crazy shifty because it's a small little cove. And that prepares us for sailing on the Charles. And then we have our open venues, which is similar to what you'd find at Brown or what you'd find at Boston College or what you'd find at Yale University, as well as other locations.
Well, what do you have planned for this week coming up as far as maintaining your sanity during this coronavirus pandemic?
Well, I guess we're fortunate over here in Little Compton. It's pretty wide open spaces, and you can get out and do some boat work and boat preps and make sure that we're ready for the sailing season that is rapidly approaching, hopefully. And I'll tell you, though, we had a little bit of a scare. I think, was it 3 nights ago? We had 70-mile-an-hour gusts at night, and a lot of people lost power. So we still have our sailboats down there on the dock, 2 different fleets, and I was very concerned about that. But they made it through, so they're tied down pretty well, and get down there and check on them once in a while. So we were fortunate that the breeze direction was sort of south and southwesterly, as opposed to easterly, which could have wreaked a lot of havoc with our boats and docks and had big waves. So, not sure I answered your question, Ed. What am I doing this weekend?
I was going to follow that up with, hey, Little Compton, Tiverton, East Bay. I know there's a famous, or at least popular, ice cream spot in that area. Gray's Ice Cream, I believe it is.
Yes.
How are businesses like Gray's doing in your area?
You know, you probably picked a poor example there because Gray's seems to be doing quite well.
Good for them.
And
that's what I was hoping.
Yeah, it's they're open, and as a matter of fact, on Easter Sunday, I was setting up out on our deck. I had 3 tables, and we were having our Easter brunch, and I realized that we had some blueberry pie and we had some Indian pudding, and all of those things go well with ice cream. And I thought, wow, I really whiffed here. I don't have any ice cream. So I called Gray's Ice Cream up Sunday morning, and they said they were open and that I could zip right down there. So I did, and we had some mocha chips, some coffee chips, some vanilla, some butter pecan, and some butter crunch. So I guess we're all going to run to the kitchens now. And
any leftovers?
So Gray's was open. I was amazed I was able to get all that ice cream, and we had a fantastic Easter. So I think many of the small businesses are open, and I'm sure their businesses are greatly reduced and they're feeling the pain. But thank goodness that they're open. Also, I know Secundit Lobster is open. We went down and got a few lobsters the other night, and were able to steam those and have a nice lobster dinner.
Life is good. Well, John, thank you very much for joining us again on Thursday afternoon. Your spot at 3:45. You're looking good. I love the nautical theme in your office space, and look forward to talking to you each Thursday.
Thanks, Ed. Great to see you again. Talk to you soon.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
That's John Ingalls, South Virginia University head sailing coach. Thanks for joining us on Thursday, April 16. My name's Ed Habashar, encouraging you to stay safe, wash your hands, and keep your distance.